I'm reading from patreon.com/. Then we had the internet Patreon last time, but okay, great. Now, here's the thing, folks. A lot of people they don't like Patreon. There's .coms. Become a producer of the show. We've got PayPal options. You can do recurring monthly, or if commitment is not your thing, you can make a donation in one.
Well, Sir Patrick.
Oh, producer Patrick.
He really took at least one. The last episode was a giant explosion, and sort of ended this back in 2012. So very much, maybe prophetic in a sense, but
very striking and dramatic piece. Very good job. Thank you very much.
Yes, and we also have a second piece of art from it's a bird, and then a bird on top of a cage saying it's a plane. But really, it's their version of the Canary Cry News Talk logo, which triggers some people because it's a globe. And in this case, it is a cage that is open.
Wake up.
I know. It's got a little kitty cat. It's a quick thank you to That Night Wind for continuing to post the timestamps. Although this one might be not very.
Get back into the show. I do want to mention we see all of your chats. We know the streams are glitchy. We know things are bad. We don't know what's going. Like something is going on within our stream software, the product that we use. So we are completely out of control of what's going on. We are just having to push through. So we understand the stream is bad. We will do our best to fix it for next time. But this is a great opportunity. If you haven't done it yet, you need to do this, because this is an example of how bad things can get, whether this is sabotage or simply some tech problems. You must go use a podcast app in whatever fashion you like that, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Google Play, whatever it is. Subscribe to the Canary Cry News Talk RSS feed. Use a podcast app. Subscribe to the podcast, because like I said earlier in the show, podcasting is the media of the people. We broadcast on all sorts of other platforms just because that's kind of what you do. You got to do it. But if all that stops working, if we never stream again, if we are sabotaged to the grave, you can always catch. We'll still be doing episodes, and you can catch it on the podcast feed. It is a must that you subscribe to the podcast in its podcasty form. The audio is significantly better, and there are less technical issues to get between you and the show, you and the truth. So make sure you do that. If this episode is not a dire warning, I don't know what else it's going to take. So make sure to subscribe to the podcast. And Gons, I think it's time to wake up.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Go out. COVID-19 by require. It's patriotic.
What?
Dun dun dun.
That makes no sense.
I know. Hit me with that Wack-chin jingle.
Wack-chin. And before you go into this, Basil, in the YouTube chats, Africa's favorite witch doctor, the Bill Gates
great
guy.
Yeah.
He said, people, once you're vaccinated, the buffering will go away. Melinda has assured me of this, and he never lies.
Africa's favorite witch doctor, Bill Gates. All right. The article reads, to win the war against the novel coronavirus that has now killed over 158,000 people in this country, the only answer is compulsory vaccination for all of us. And while, it's interesting because I make no qualms about it. I've got a bunch of normie friends, and they range from liberal to libertarian to conservatives. And many of them, if it's not really a right or left issue, it's a normie issue where almost all of them will say they're not going to force vaccinations. Nobody wants that. It's not about forced vaccinations. We're all going to get vaccinated like we already do because we want to protect. There's no forcing going on. This is America.
No.
And I just think That is so painful. Your words are painful. Stop it. And here it is. To win the war against the novel coronavirus that has now killed over 158,000 people in this country, the only answer is compulsory vaccination for all of us. And while the measures that will be necessary to defeat the coronavirus will seem draconian, simply put, getting vaccinated is going to be our patriotic duty. When an effective vaccine is available for COVID-19, it will only defeat the pandemic if it is widely used, creating herd immunity. It is important to note that during an epidemic, there is no threshold above which the protection conferred by herd immunity cannot be improved. Thus, the more people who are immunized, the lower risk for all of us, including those who are not vaccinated. Nor is there an alternative to vaccine-induced herd immunity in a pandemic. Relying on enough people to people becoming infected and then immune is dangerous, as exemplified by the Swedish experience, where the COVID-19 mortality rate exceeds that of its more cautious neighbors. Broad induction of immunity in the population by immunization will be necessary to end this pandemic. In simple terms, a refusal to be vaccinated threatens the lives of others. So here's what America must do when a vaccine is ready. 1. Make vaccinations free and easily accessible. 2. Exempt only those with medical contraindications to immunization. It is likely that more than one vaccine platform will prove effective, as was the case for the polio vaccines, and as a result, medical conditions that prohibit all COVID-19 vaccines will be rare. One of them is being pregnant, ladies. 3, do not honor religious objections. The major religions do not officially oppose vaccinations. You hear that, Gons? Do not honor religious objections. 4, do not allow objections for personal preference, which violate the social contract. Oh, we cannot violate the social contract, Gons. Moving on. How can government and society assure compliance with protective vaccines? Could levy, as is the case for smokers. Private businesses could refuse to employ or serve unvaccinated individuals. Schools could trains, and the only legal limitation on government or private action is that it not be discriminatory. And it's hard to see how discrimination would occur if vaccinations were free and accessible to all. How then should immunization Adequate immunization may require more than a single vaccination, and the durability of protection by different vaccines may vary and may not be lifelong, requiring periodic booster immunizations. Thus, immunized persons will need to receive expiration date stamped certification. Measures may seem draconian, no kidding, and would be costly, but ensuring universal vaccination is a negligible sacrifice compared with we acknowledge that the refusal to obey rules one considers unjust is an American tradition. Oh, good. Well, that's good. But another cornerstone of the American tradition is that we come together to serve. We're subject to penalties. True.
Sweden just a moment ago, but I don't know where they're getting their info, but according to this Newsweek article, Sweden COVID-19 death rate lower than Spain, Italy is much lower. And there was one piece here. New COVID-19 cases in Sweden versus Europe in the past 14 days, according to the World 46%, according to the World Health Organization.
So this is fake news.
So
this is incorrect show if it weren't for patreon.com/CCNT or canarycrynewstalk.com/support.
Oh, sorry.
Canary Cry Radio. patreon.com/support.
They are producer. We might be needing to do some hardware upgrades here. As you've heard, Gonz's computer is causing more trouble than we appreciate you guys so much. You can also help support the show. If financially is not an option for you, we totally understand. But if you got a few bucks, financially is a great way to help produce the show. But if that's not an option, you can support the show by creating art, creating jingles, creating songs, doing all sorts of stuff like that. You can send that all to canarycryradio@gmail.com. But if that's not an option for you, a great way to help out is to leave a rating and or a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to the podcast. No new reviews recently, so I would appreciate reading some new reviews. It feels good when people do that, and it's a part of the have no control over. Ratings and reviews go into the algorithms that show the show to new people. It's a great way to mono person to person.
Of the world.
Hey, stop that! Don't ever say.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember, we'll be back on Monday the 10th between noon and 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Keep an eye out for the notifications on the Facebooks and the Everywhere Cry community on Facebook. And go to canarycry.community. That's a real URL. It'll take you to our off-air and memes. It's very important. All right, folks, I think that's just about it for today. So thank you so much for listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Stop this progress before it is too late!
Aliens.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up.
Leave the bird alone!
I want to angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy.
Find in a people's zoo.
I'll keep you safe and warm.